CDA Conversations.
Today I'm speaking with CDA President Dr. Gary MacDonald about the recent Days on the Hill visit by a CDA delegation. Gary, can you explain to me what is the CDA Days on the Hill initiative?
Days on the Hill is an annual event. It's organized by CDA's Public Affairs team in consultation with the Advocacy Committee. And the visit to the Hill provides an opportunity for dentists to meet with parliamentarians, and basically we're there to discuss federal issues that impact on dentistry. And of course, anything that impacts on our profession and our career is ultimately going to impact our patients as well. The team consists of the President and the President-elect, members of our Advocacy Committee, and CDA's Public Affairs specialists who are working and putting this together at CDA. And there are often others involved who have some expertise on specific issues we want brought to the Days on the Hill. This year we had representatives from the Canadian Association of Oral and Maxillofacial Surgeons, the Association of Canadian Faculties of Dentistry, and the Assembly of First Nations. So those three groups joined us on the Hill as well to specifically talk their issues.
Right. Now, who did the delegation meet? I take it this was an all-day meeting?
Well, actually, the meetings took place over 2 days, and the participants were divided into 3 separate teams since there were a fair number of us. And we had scheduled meetings with MPs, senators, and senior bureaucrats who have an interest or political connection to issues of interest to the profession. And the teams will basically discuss with our people what the issues are, how the federal government can help with these issues, and make them aware of the issues and solicit their support where appropriate.
Gary, could you give me an idea of some of the recognizable big names that you got to meet?
We met with the Minister of Health, the Honourable Rona Ambrose, and the official opposition and NDP leader, Mr. Thomas Mulcair, and our Liberal leader, Justin Trudeau. We also met with the Standing Committee on Health, which we felt was very important committee members to meet with, including Libby Davies, who is the NDP health critic, and Danny Moran from the NDP and Carolyn Bennett from the Liberals. Also, we met with several members of the Standing Committee on Aboriginal Affairs and members of the Standing Committee on Veterans Affairs. And I personally met with my MP from St. John's West, Ryan Cleary, and St. John's East MP, Jack Harris, who's an acquaintance and friend of mine.
Right. Did you get to meet Dr. Harold Albrecht, dentist MP?
Yes, actually, Dr. Albrecht was at a Friends of Dentistry dinner on the Wednesday evening, and I actually sat next to Harold. Very pleasant individual, and we had a nice conversation over dinner. Didn't meet with him personally during the Days on the Hill, but at that particular dinner, we had a chance to talk.
Lovely. What were the main messages that you conveyed to parliamentarians?
We met with several MPs from different walks of life and different areas of interest and expertise, but our policy focus for this meeting was really the non-insured health benefits program. It's a program of Health Canada, and our mission was to identify to government a number of administrative barriers to care for Canada's First Nations and Inuit population, including the issues with the centralization of the predetermination process, which is causing a lot of frustrating delays in treatment for Canada's First Nations people. Some of the other issues that we expressed concern of with the NIHB program was the increasing transportation costs, the obstacles in returning for follow-up treatment, and really the bureaucratic wastage. And also the final thing we would zero in on with regards to this program is the lack of an effective preventive care program and oral health education program. So that was really where our Days on the Hill teams zeroed in on. That was our number one project, and we really affirmed the need of a full review of the program to properly assess an adequate level of funding and also to ensure that the program was administered both effectively and efficiently.
What were the other priority areas that you spoke about, and what was the main messages?
Well, we had a number of other files, but the one which might have resonated the most with those who we met with was our standards of oral health care for Canada's veterans, the long-term care facilities. Mm-hmm. The seniors' health care is generally recognized as a provincial responsibility. However, Veterans Affairs Canada plays a vital role in providing care for a segment of Canada's seniors population. So Veterans Affairs has contracts in place with more than 170 care facilities across Canada that guarantee priority access for over 8,000 of our veterans. So this certainly was some information some of the MPs were not aware of, others were, but what our key point was with this level of influence on seniors' care in long-term care facilities, Veterans Affairs is in a great position to influence the levels of oral health care across Canada through their contract specifications, because they sign contracts with these individual health care units, and it's an opportunity for government to recommend some basic oral health care services in those contracts. So what we did was we asked Veterans Affairs Canada and our people that we met with to encourage Veterans Affairs Canada to include in their contract with these long-term care facilities the minimum requirements of an oral health screening on admission, an annual exam by a dentist, the leader of the oral health team, a daily most care plan for each individual patient, and some suitable infrastructure within the facility to support the appropriate delivery of needed dental care. Many of these seniors and the veterans in long-term care facilities are not ambulatory. They're not able to get in a vehicle and just drive to the dentist's office. It's often very difficult for them, and so the facility should be in these long-term care places for basic dental services to be performed on site.
Yes. And of course, Veterans Affairs would be giving example to other administrators of health.
That's right. And of course, the veterans would not be the only people that would be housed in these long-term care facilities, so it would really set the benchmark, set the standard for other LTCs across Canada, and where they see that these facilities that are housing the veterans it's basically demanded that they have these facilities available for dental services. Yes. These requests for minimum requirements in long-term care facilities was understood and well received by all of the MPs that we met. Mm-hmm. These guarantees for our veterans could certainly go a long way, as we just said, in ensuring oral health needs of seniors in long-term care facilities. And really, it was an issue that no one disagreed with. They all thought that that was something that actually should be done, and some of them were actually surprised that it hasn't already been done.
That sounds positive.
Yes, it is, very positive. Can I go back to the NIHB issue again, John, just because we actually ended up in our meeting with the Minister of Health, Rona Ambrose, and the first thing we talked about, of course, was the NIHB program and the issues and problems that that program had. And she was well aware of those. It's not the first time she's heard them, of course. But the interesting thing was that she confirmed with us right then and there that there will be a joint review of the NIHB program with Health Canada and the Assembly of First Nations. And Ms. Ambrose invited the CDA to submit our concerns to her. So that was really a big takeaway for us from meetings with the minister and others on Days in the Hill, because that was really our main concern, our main topic that we zeroed in on Days in the Hill this time around. And we really had really great positive feedback on the NIHB issue in terms of having a review, and then with respect to the seniors and veterans in long-term care facilities, we couldn't have asked for a more positive response.
So those are two very, very practical topic areas, and you've got definite practical next steps.
Absolutely, yes.
To be on the lookout for. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, you had the people there from the oral maxillofacial surgeons and the academics. Were there any issues particularly germane to those groups that you raised?
They had very positive and good meetings as well. As far as the oral surgeons were concerned, their main concerns were the NIHB program, of course, the drug shortages, which has been an issue for some of the oral surgeons who perform IV deep sedation and general anesthesia. That's where the bulk of the drug shortages had taken place, and also drug abuse. So those were the three issues the oral surgeons were concerned about, and we had Dr. Chris Robinson representing the oral and maxillofacial surgeons. With regards to the academics, their main concern and issue, of course, was oral health research in the dental schools and the lack of funding and so on.
Very important issues to the profession, and we look forward to hearing from you again at a later date about positive developments in these areas.
Well, thank you, John, and it's been great talking to you, and looking forward to our next chat.